I think
Yeah.
he also dropped off.
Okay. Wow.
So
Good
Mate
thing we
has
have.
to lead everything.
Yeah. Well, good thing I don't have a whole lot to say.
Let's try it again.
Oh, there we is. There we are. There's the man.
Once again, from the top. Yeah, as far as SPX goes, we did trade below the Friday low in the overnight session. We tested 76.50 and held. And now we're trying to reclaim Friday's low for a move to the upside. That's the main thing to watch early in the session is whether or not we can kind of clear 76.67 or so for a move to the upside. Overall, the gamma positioning, I think it can be very choppy between 76.30 and 76.95 or so. Everything in the middle can be fairly choppy. The best long is down 76.30. The best short is 76.95, even 77.10. If we were to see that, would be nice. Everything in the middle can be pretty trappy and choppy, but being able to hold above the Friday low and clear 76.67 could give us a little bit of a push early in the session. But the main test will be kind of up there at 76.95 and 77.10. As long as you're below 77.10, you could see that initial push higher sold. And at the moment, most of the larger positive gamma positions are below us, which does tend to favor pops being sold and eventually fading lower into those unless we see some changes after the open.
Thank you, Jay Money. All right. Let's get into the watch list. I don't have anything to add on the S&P other than from a macro perspective. Besant's going to be out there talking this afternoon. I know yields have been a focus, so we'll want to keep an eye on headline risk today. There's nothing scheduled that is big, but we do have headline risk later in the week. Jackson Hole and some data, so that'll likely pick up then. But for now, it's mostly headline risk. As far as individual names go, there's really not a whole lot that I'm liking this morning in the way of like top ops, crypto. Was in play last week, so I am focused a bit there. See if we get any kind of follow through into the open. I'm not, too hot on any specific signals just yet. And we also have AMD was gapping down, so Simi's NVIDIA earnings coming up, so we want to kind of just pay attention to that. And you had offering news on AAOI, the third one of 2026, I believe, 600 million dollar offering, which we'll go through the chart here in a second. So just kind of high level, some thoughts heading into the week. And then so individual names QQQ above 707. So if you see us hold these lows on a reclaim, you could see a rotation back up through the range. We've been kind of just beasting below the trend line after falling above it. So look for a turn back above there for gap fill, which is sort of playing out already. Circle. So, like I mentioned, crypto on watch. I like Circle a good bit just because of some of the squeeze potential and that underlying narrative, which we won't spend too much time on right now. But it's had a really nice 3 day move. You can see it has uh, in the past couple of sessions kind of not really closed on highs. So there's been a little bit of hesitancy into this 90 level. This is a big spot for the stock. If it can clear that and hold, which it's attempting to do now, I think it's due for a day that runs all day and closes on the highs. I think this is sort of that sticking point for the stock. And if it fails, it'll probably be a reversion trade back to 84 or lower. But if we hold this 90, you can use that as a pivot. Like I said, entry is a little tougher immediately off the open, but if we hold 90 today, I think this is set up for a move to 100. So maybe a potential swing, and then wait for day trade signals. mRNA, big one last week. There's some chatter going through the about the catalyst from last week, but it's holding its own. which I think is important. Well, the two things that I'm watching on mRNA are is this prior day low around 130, and then that 128, the previous day before that, low at 128.61. If we start to fail down there, we could see this push into 114 for the downside. For the upside, I would just wait for it to set up a squeeze trade at this 159. Even better, 176. We're a good bit away from that, but that would be a squeeze trigger to 200. So it's been moving a lot, as we know. So it's one to keep an eye on, but nothing around the open that we like too much for a trade. Hood is another way to play crypto and then some. It's obviously it has a lot to offer what they're doing with the company, but crypto is has some exposure here. So this had a really big day on Friday. Today's day two, so over 109.50. Target's 112. Tesla had a strong day on Friday. We've done a good job just um, making a comeback from the gap after earnings. So this is a big reclaim setup around 368, 370. If we can get back above that, you could start a bigger move toward 400 next. So again, no real entries for today that I love unless we get back up to that 368, 370 area.
Oh, hello, hello, hello.
Holy moly!
Sorry. Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, what's up? All right, just
No,
keep on going.
yeah, keep going.
All right, we got a couple more here. Um, and then you can just jump back in if I miss anything that you like. Yeah, so coin, technically a better close than circle. I just don't really like trading this name too much, but it looks pretty similar as circle. This one, I would watch that 192, pretty much the same thought pattern as circle with coin here. Over 192, those prior day highs, 191, 192. It's setting up for a move to 200. A bigger move could come if we reclaim 200. Um, the way to think about these going into the week is because they've made a quick 3 day move, you want to be thinking momentum. So if they're going to move early in the week, you should expect to see more of that squeezy kind of momentum type action. And if you don't get that, you're probably set up for a little consolidation first. So just setting those expectations. SpaceX, just want to keep an eye on that's basing around this 921 EMA on the daily. It's just kind of pinned there. It broke out of that balance after failing to get above 150, but it held 130. So we're just kind of in the middle. Just one to keep an eye on if it starts to move above 139 or below 130. Snow. So software has been looking pretty good now for a few weeks, really. This is just kind of coiling back higher. Really nice day on Friday. Today would be continuation. I would look for a move over that 333 to this most recent local high at 341. If it can clear the prior day highs and hold, look for a rotation up to that local high. Last on the list, then we'll talk about ALI and then see what Monkey and Serene have here for us. PLTR, nice, really big move from the end of July into August. And then we've just spent the last week or so basing in this range. And on Friday, attempted to break it, failed to close above it, just really right at the top of it, actually, after rejecting 183. So 183 is this high from January, start of the year. If you can reclaim that, this is setting up for a move to 200, I think, over the next couple of months. So today, watch the prior day highs. We're gapping a little bit lower into the range. So just set an alert at the highs for that trade. And then AOI has offering news. So this is probably one of the only trades I'm interested in at the open, but I would prefer to trade it with shares. I don't love the volume, honestly, so I'm going to pass on it at the open. But in terms of the catalyst and the structure that we have, it's pretty textbook for our playbook for an opening drive or front side short. So if you see a push up into this like 112 and rejection, it could be a nice front side short or just a dump at the open with this tight stop around 110. That is valid for our playbook. I just don't really love the fact that it's only trading 1x R ball on a 12% gap down. That to me is a little thin and too concerning to trade it with any size. Srang, you're up, unless you want to jump in, Lucky.
No, we're good. You did a good job.
Yeah, hi, good morning, everybody. I think there is a news on Samsung today. So I think some written plan short, so that's why all the memory names are gapping down. So one name I like in the memory name is SNDK. So SNDK is qualifying for our day one setup, so we are gapping down 6%, and 1500 is a very key level. So what I'm watching is nice pre-market structure also. So if the first move is up around 1530, I'll be looking for a front side short. Uh, or if we see a first move maybe 1520 or something, then I'll be looking to break this 1597 or 1598 area to break at open. I'm watching the opening drive setup on SNDK. So we'll be triggering maybe in 5-10 minutes. Second stock I like is ARM. So if you look at the daily structure, so this 237, 238 area is the very key where we saw a big breakout after that. Yeah, this is at the left hand side. Yeah. So we are just trading around near to that area. We have a nice pre-market structure, but generally we don't see much of R wall on ARM uh, in the pre-market. So that's very common on this stock, but it makes a move after open. So what I'm watching is not an opening drive, but if we see an good R wall on this one at open, so I'll be looking to take a trade below pre-market low, that is 236. We'll be looking to play 230 put on ARM. Uh, and the third stock I'm watching is Hood. Actually, the crypto name we have, if you look at the BTC, Bitcoin, and all, so they have like almost a three inside day, and we are opening today. So what I'm watching is to take a trade on crypto name. I want like BTC to be break and hold above 80,000 area. So if we see a Bitcoin above 80,000, and then would if we break above let's say 110, which was Friday high, then I'll be looking to take a trade on Hood. And, lastly, I'm watching technical trade Meta. So their earning, if you look at the daily structure on the Meta daily structure, yeah, so we have a nice rally from this area. After earning, we saw a gap down and we have seen a nice rally. I'm watching two types of trade here. So from a day trade perspective, we have almost two inside day on Meta at a very key level. So what I'm watching is 555 to reclaim. So if 555 reclaim and we see some basing below that, then we'll be looking to uh, play the calls targeting 565 to 566 on Meta. But yeah, for downside, I think I want like 537 to 538 to break. And lastly, I think this is a small trade I will be watching because PDD has reported the earning, and stock has not reacted much after the earning. So what I'm watching is, so on a daily structure, the stock is very weak, so any bounce is likely to sell off on PDD. So I'm watching like 93 to 95 area for a front side rejection, and so looking to take a profit around 91 and 88 are main target. So this one makes a move opposite direction, and then we see some move, so the options would be very cheap, but only thing is that open the spreads would be very wide. So let's see how we set up on this one. Yeah, those are the name I'm watching.
Thank you, Srang. Let's go to the chat. One that I forgot to mention was TEM. I am actually watching this very closely, so I meant to mention it when I was talking about mRNA, and it slipped my mind. But TEM is a beneficiary of the mRNA news from a tech perspective. So worth watching. This is a pretty, like, not pretty, it's a very choppy chart, really messy daily. And you're getting a really big 3-day move. Now, the daily ranges are pretty consistent so far. The Friday's candle, a little stretched. I wouldn't say it's like textbook reversion just yet. So I don't see a trade, but I will look for one. I think this could possibly set up a really good reversion trade, or a squeeze. So just adding that to our radar. Looks like
Before you
there's
get to
news being
the
shared. Yeah, go ahead.
before you get before you get to the chat, just want to mention QQQ. Did you run through that?
I
I
did, but I
wasn't
kind of
on.
sped through it. I knew
Okay.
it was yours. So I did what I thought you were looking at, but you can talk about it again. Probably be good.
I, I'm sure you pointed out the exact same thing I'm going to point out, but just to reiterate, I'm watching that gap fill. So if you do see a break below Friday's low, we do have a low couple weeks ago around 707.53, and there's a nice little gap below down to that 702 area. So I'm looking for that 707 53 break for a gap fill. And so we would have then at that point broken below the 20-day moving average and also fill it, we have that gap that acts as a magnet below. So that's the kind of the put play I'm watching. I know we're all over SPX, but QQQ is also
Mhm.
interesting to me.
Good call. I think I don't remember exactly what I said, but I'm glad you went through it. I think I was thinking upside for some reason. It looks good.
Okay, cool. All right, I can do the room if you'd like.
Yeah, either one.
Okay, cool. So let's take a look at some of the names that you're posting in the chat here. Just scrolling through TSM is the first one to watch. It's kind of like in the middle of nowhere for me. Here it's pinched between the 50 and the 20. It's a really hard name for me to see here, at least. So I would say there are easier trades out there. Cool. Interesting name to look at. And I mean, a couple of things here. Apple is tricky because it has at points a certain kind of periods of time shown some nice relative strength, but if you look at that gap down after earnings as kind of the leg down, right, and then you have the subsequent days, we've been just trading very methodically in what looks to me at least like a bear flag on the daily. So
Mhm.
the gap down is the flagpole, and then it's just very methodically been kind of contained within this range now. So Friday was a weaker day, and I think we need that bigger kind of move down to confirm, maybe even a break and then a back test. But for me right now, Apple is harder in terms of upside. That 300 is going to be really big to watch for a downside play. So MU, I think there were headlines that affected memory names. MU is one of them. SNDK so on. I think Sarang just mentioned it. So I mean, I think it's just harder for me with these at this point. It's kind of a middle and a wider range. There's highly sensitive to headlines, and it's just we're not really doing anything. And I know everybody loves MU, and it's been providing us with some really good trades. But right now is not that time. I think there are some other better opportunities. At least that's how I'm seeing it. Okay. Um, SoFi, I checked out the earlier actually for some reason. Kind of scroll through, and for me, it just feels like accumulation, maybe, or perhaps consolidation before next leg lower. And so the good thing is that earnings behind us, and the next earnings report is quite a while. So if it wants to make a move higher, I would say target 2021. Also, another hard name to kind of trade. FCX looks good. So obviously, slightly different part of the market. And I think I'm just going to stop here, guys. We have 30 seconds until the open. Time kind of ran out from us. So let's focus. I don't have a particular focus in terms of an individual name that I'm watching. I'll be watching to get a feel for the market first and then maybe take a shot. I do like coin actually in the Bitcoin names if they could perform again here.
Mhm. Yeah, I think if anything at the open from a momentum
Mhm,
standpoint, crypto's got a
mhm.
shot today. Yeah.
Yeah, you might see like some continuation of the bullishness, and then you might see some, them slap down for a couple of days maybe. So coin maybe 200 we could see before that happens, but yeah,
Yeah.
Meta big pop here. I know Sarang was watching 555, so opened right there.
QQQ,
Coin,
QQQ nearing your level there.
yeah,
Big spot.
yeah. So coin making first move higher here. See that 192 zone.
Right. So if you like circle or coin, guys, you could trail the opening print low as a momentum trade. Coin trying to break prior week or prior day high. Circle's trying to target that prior day high. Get some ATRs in the chat. ATR on coin is 196. That's a key level also. Circle 93.59. Just below prior day high. Or above, sorry. Opening drive
Tesla,
on AOI is playing out.
mm, Tesla big move lower. SpaceX nice ramp higher. Oh, snow pulling back here. Let's see if it holds. But somebody's mentioning Dell big candles. That's really a nice move here, Dell. SpaceX back to Friday highs here.
mRNA, watch 128.60.
Mhm. Coin is trying to turn here, trying to hold. SpaceX really strong off the open. Kind of like coin here, guys. Going for a small play here. Sizing small here. So I'm in 200 calls here. My stop would be 185. Smaller size, see if you could get a turn here. If not, we'll just cut it and look elsewhere. SpaceX 138. SpaceX 140. Mate, I know I was watching that.
Hmm.
QQ trying to break here. Just hard to do the open drive on QQQ here, but big level on the daily. I need coin to hold above 188 here, break above 190. I think we can see some acceleration. A little slower here still, but MSTR is trying to do a little bit of what coin is doing here. But SPX trying to hold the 20-day here, guys. We're right at it.
That opening drive on AOI played out really nice. Didn't like the volume in the pre-market, but very textbook. UQQ back tested your entry or your level and turning
Yeah, that
lower.
was nice. Yeah, that was really nice.
Excuse me, sorry.
Nice turn on Apple here. SpaceX looks really strong, guys. Looks like we can get to that 140 at least to test it.
Yeah.
I guess Trump is out there talking here, talking about tariffs. QQQ moving nicely lower. Watch SpaceX backtest of Friday highs here. If it could hold, maybe you get that turn for that push into 140. One is a little slower here, but still kind of holding here. So I'm gonna give it a sec. Give it some time. Nvidia really pulling lower here, breaking 212. Come on, coin, make that turn. QQQ ATR is around 702. Then this little bit of so that gap is a little bit below -1 ATR there. QQ, really nice short. Gave you a secondary entry there. MU testing 900.
It's actually holding every dip,
Yeah.
getting absorbed. Let's see, +1, 147. Closer look at this. I want to see it hold above 138. 139. QQQ, great trade. Nice call out there. Very easy. I'd say it's like probably the easiest trade I've seen at the open.
Yeah, for sure.
So SPX fading below that 76.50 pivot. There's not a whole lot below there until 30, and I do like 30 quite a bit for a bounce.
Say 76.30 for a bounce.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Premium holding okay on coin, although it's moving lower. I don't like that it went red, but these expire end of week, so I'm gonna give it a little bit of a start breaking 184.16. I'm out. Bitcoin kind of failed to push. Tesla 352 test. Seeing divergence on the 10-minute here, SPX on this red candle. You're trying to absorb this push lower.
Marine reacting to -1 ATR.
Mm.
Also defending the prior day lows here.
Mhm.
Let's really reset our side too. Interesting. Watching 140 calls on mRNA. So I'm getting filled 140s here. This will be more of a day trade.
Pretty bearish open here, I would say. The market. All right, QQQ is coming to the area where it could bounce or should at least react around that -1 and also close to the gap fill. Keep an eye on Apple.
Switch to 139. 139 to 141. That's my first target area on mRNA. See if it can defend this failed breakdown of the prior day low. Volume's increasing here on this turn, so looks pretty good. Start to break back under like 133, I would go flat.
See if software catch a bid here. No, this could be a nice turn. Just got a notification. Crowd red to green move. 50-day at 193. IGV is red here. SMH is relatively weak here, -3. D-dog turning. Net turning, crowd turning, PANW, current turning as well, or attempting to turn. So bit of a bid and softer, like an underlying kind of first sign of a bid. Pretty weak tape though so far. Apple keeps holding PM high, which is positive. Is it PM high? It's not PM high. PM high is above us.
So 140 calls holding up really nicely on mRNA so far. Don't like how slow it is, but we'll see if it can carve a turn out. Defend this 133. If not, I'll go flat.
JM, you see that spread at 7,600 and how positioning above is kind of weak. You think we can magnet down there?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a magnet yet, but it's certainly something to be aware of.
Okay.
There's just several really big positions, but that being added after the open is definitely something to watch.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, Apple moved really nicely since suspension. Almost in the money in those calls that I mentioned. 313 is a nice level to kind of target. Coin is trying. It hasn't given up yet, so I'm just gonna hold that. But uh, I wish it was a little faster. But so far, everything's kind of holding here. Green. It tempted to go red a couple times. 7650 on SPX could be an area to watch for a bit of a short potentially. MU breaking the 20-day moving average and the -1 ATR here. There's a nice little gap below to fill towards 876 or so. Bit of a turn here in the indices. SPX tested that 20-day at 56, 76, 56. Failed to push above for now, turning lower. Netflix holding strong above 80 as well. It's good. Google, nice open drive or dip and rip on Google towards 350. I have to take an L on this coin. It's a little slow, but I also want to see what it does because it's not making a new low. It just feels like a really weak day here so far. Meta, nice, really nice strength. Notice it's the strength in Mag 7 actually. Netflix, Meta, Google, Apple, all strong, and Microsoft to that, adding that to the list. That's worth a note, guys. Come on, coin. More aggressive stop on coin would be 3 or 2.95, like hard stop. Would be best for this push to work. The only problem I'm seeing here is that 80K on Bitcoin is right above us and it's +1 ATR. But sometimes these diverge, like the individual names would then just take off. Just slow here. We're even here, pretty much. Mr. MSTR is looking pretty okay here, pushing higher.
mRNA here. That turn failed, so I'll consider puts, but I would need to see it fail 128 first.
Guys, if this fails to push, I will exit coin and reassess, but giving this a second here. It's taking a little long. If it's gonna work, it's gonna work. Coin is actually testing the high from 3 days ago, which is that big green candle to the upside, around that 795. So we're already kind of hitting that, which was my intention, and coin is still kind of within the range. An inside day so far. Circle pushing, MSTR pushing, coin near highs, Bitcoin near highs. All right, circle's starting to move here. Coin and circle move very similarly. MSCR taken off. Just move my stop down on coin. If they fail this, we might see a retracement. I don't want to sit through anymore. Apple, new highs. 9 on 10 at 76.58 on SPX. Also 20 days right there. I like 76.50, 76.70 for a short SPX if we get there.
mRNA.
Again?
mRNA low of daybreak.
Mhm. Guys, I'm all out at entry price on coin. Yeah, so uh, that coin play was a little tricky because I was trying to just like a small little review here, but I was trying to play the relative strength and the first move lower on coin, or that dip. I want to take that bounce play and push back up higher as Bitcoin names were holding up okay, and Bitcoin is looking fairly strong compared to the market. Also, we had some relative strength from last week, and coin kind of like held up okay and a little slow in terms of the premium, both to the downside and upside. So that kept me in it because I didn't see any depreciation of the value. And in terms of my stop 185, it held, which is also the orb low, or became the orb low. And so I kept watching Circle and MSTR, and they were holding up. So none of them were giving up, and coin kept coming back, and it was worth a hold. But I think what got me to exit there was that Bitcoin approached 80K, which is your breakout zone or area, and the +1 ATR. And so if you take all of that into account, like this might still play out. Like we might move to 210, but it might not be now. And so it's a little slow. And I think there might be another op that we could take in coin. And so that's why I cut it near enterprise. So yeah, I think if you took MSDR or yeah, MSDR I think was a really good candidate for Bitcoin. Good job, Apple. A really good idea. I know Dortz, one of our analysts, obviously caught MU. It's fantastic. Good job there. But this market, I don't want to force it too much either. I'll take shots, but if it doesn't play out, that's it.
Trying mRNA one more time here just because we have ATR on 3024. got a pretty hard stop, 128.61. I do like shorts below 128.61, but this is kind of that last long attempt to me. So give it a shot, see what it does. If we fail 128.61 on this move, it's too direct for me to enter. So I'd wait for a cleaner signal for puts, but for now, I like this kind of extension long. Good risk reward.
So just kind of posted an idea or a couple ideas for SPX and Jam. If I'm saying something wrong, just jump in. I'm seeing 65, 60 above us, 76, 65, 60 as resistance at this point. It's going to be hard to push above. If we do, we could see a nice little move higher, obviously. And if that's a really good kind of short zone. So if you're looking into shorting after this period of consolidation, if we do catch a bid here into that gap above and fail, that 70 could be a nice little area to, sorry, 65, 70 would be a nice area to short. And then I have been seeing some positioning below us opening up as well, which could eventually act as magnet or at least something to keep an eye on. Obviously, there's a little bit of a get through here, 40, 35, 30, in order to get to 25 below. But I don't know, considering it's a bit more of a suppressive environment, let's see what happens if we get the downside move first, or if we get that pop that could get shorted.
Quarter off mRNA.
Turn here, coin.
Yeah,
Apple
circle
extremely
too.
strong. Yeah, yeah, yeah. MSTR circle coin. So the 9 on 10 on the indices, QQQ and GEX, they've caught up a bit here to price. So um, I think we can get to 65, 70 if we flip the 9 on 10 and the 20, which is at 55. So 76, 55, hold above. I think we see an attempt to fill the gap. For now, sellers are doing a poor job of pushing lower. So it's tricky. There's no real kind of direction here. multiple new highs. Circle looks really nice here. Probably targeting Friday highs. Also ATR right there. Tesla making an effort to flip the 9 of 10 here. You're starting to see some of these semis move as well. AMD, Nvidia off the lows. Those coin calls are still near where we entered, so okay here. Microsoft near high day here. Microsoft strong. Watching SPX puts. If we get that to fill the gap, orb high around the 64.65, and we do have that low of day from Friday. So basically, we opened up in that gap and kind of pushed lower and now holding. And so I would like to watch and see if we could fail to recover yesterday's lows, 60, and reject 65. They're pushing gamma down now. Need to break 50 here to get a real party started, but let's see. It's very, very, very choppy. That basically was a 9 on 10 back test here. Google new highs. Watch 50 here on SPX to really accelerate. Not a whole lot below. We're holding 9 on 10 for now. Three sacks, big candle. Mag 7 really strong. Some of them, not all of them. Gold near 430. That's a really good target. SPX looks heavy here, guys. Still holding the 9, but if we break 50, could accelerate it down. Very, very thin below. High day could be something to watch for a look above and fail. Also look above and fail of today's high, but also the recovery of Friday lows. Pretty choppy here. We have a few ideas. We'll stay patient, I guess. SpaceX, really nice. They're accumulating SpaceX here. Every dip gets bought, pretty much. Yeah, so AAOI, you're mentioning it, cheeky horn. Recovered the -1 ATR at a gap below. So 108.77 or something like that, recovered. Potentially could see 115. A lot of 9 on 10 flip plays so far. I'd say Microsoft is one to watch over the next few days. Trying to make a turn higher low on the daily, holding the gap below, trying to flip over the 9-day. Still too early, breaking the trend line. Something to watch.
RNA pop. No real thoughts on Tesla. I think it's harder trade until it gets back above 368. It did hold 351. A decent back test and hold. Outside of his swing, I'd be careful day trading it. I'm watching the premiums on the swing trade on SpaceX. 140 calls. RNA starting to attempt this turn here. We are on the right side on the second attempt, so much better spot to be in. Let's see if it can do something here. 139, 140 is the first target. Firms have been holding up pretty good all day, really. Taking the quarter off. 615. Getting filled. mRNA.
SPX continuing to fade lower here. As long as it's below 50, now the upside is harder. There's not a lot below 50 until 25 that I would have much confidence in. Try if you can clear 50, you can try 60 again, but 60 and 65 looks like ceiling on the day at this point.
A reminder, we have Besant supposed to be talking around 2 p.m. today.
Bit of an air gap, air pocket here below 50.
Space Monkey bought the 7640 puts, 440 here. SpaceX, really nice push back above 137. A little bit lower vol today on it, but it's doing a good job holding on dips. I like that swing idea. Gonna wait though. Just gonna stay patient. Watch 139. Basically, a swing idea would be trading against 133, 130. So exit alert on those puts at 3, about 30%. Stop there. Monkey. I gotta step away for a bit. Got a couple calls coming up, but I'll check in a little. Just trading this right side here on mRNA. Target's 140 initially. Bigger target would be the opening print high on a setup like this that you would expect to play out over the course of the session. This right turn on the second attempt, much better. I like the first attempt as well. I think it was a very valid trade. We had this 132.43 level and we swept it. So it was a prior day low level. So putting a failed breakdown in. I think the reason this got a little trickier is because ATR was right here at 130 at the lows. So once it failed that turn, the stock's also off SSR today. So maybe a little bit more pressure from sellers. And then we failed that first turn, stopped out, and then got in on the second turn, mainly due to the risk reward. Bigger picture thesis was still intact to me. If we failed, as I mentioned, 128.60 today, that would be a much bigger setup for shorts. So I would have really liked to have flipped short at some point if we got a signal below that. But against that, holding ATR and then having that key level right there, about $1.50 of risk is just really good risk reward with that higher time frame setup still alive for buyers and the risk of a squeeze and traversal back higher through the range in play. So that's why I was stayed focused long initially and then got that second entry. Second entry, you got this candle. The reason that you gain confidence on this candle is because it completely overtook the prior and reclaim that 132.43. So a second attempt at a failed breakdown of that level from the higher time frame. That one stuck, and then now we're trading on the right side of this recovery, and you're attempting to put in a V-shaped recovery. So much better technical pattern. We'll see what it does from here. Stops for me somewhere around break even on this trade, and my expectation is a trend move. So I'm not eager to sell, but I will look to take profits into any kind of spikes or momentum moves to the upside. Again, 139 with 40 initial target, and then bigger picture target on the session 145. If we were to happen to get to 145 today, that'd be a pretty big development, and you could see an attempt to squeeze above that back to 159. Volume is good on mRNA on the session. So another reason I liked it. It was not only building, but has continued to build throughout the session. So this is kind of a setup that has a late day bloomer type potential. Big picture context, the narrative's still the same. And after a couple of days of digestion, we're trapping the structure from the past 2 days and attempting higher. So still inside. So there's a lot of risk of chop, but there's also a lot of potential to squeeze if it can manage its way back above 145 today. That's the main thing I'm looking at. As I've mentioned, I also like SpaceX, but I'm not confident on the timing. I think the risk reward's pretty good on the daily. It's curling above the 921 EMAs after defending on the dip. So really, it's trying to reclaim, I should say, the 9 right now. It held in 21. And I'm not in a rush on this one, so I'm just going to hang tight. I do better at day trading it anyway, so just going to sit on hands, but I do like the idea. Circle is an interesting one. I would say what we've been watching is what I would continue to watch as I step away. Watch the the prior day high break 92.88 on Circle. You've got +1 ATR just above it. I think 93.59, something to watch. R-Vol's pretty good on this one. Falling off my screen for some reason. Okay. And building also. So crypto continues to stay in play. I would treat that like a momentum trade. If we pop over that prior day high, look at something like a bar trail, scalp out a move, at least ATR. If you get through ATR, then we're going to start an attempt at 100. S&P, last thing, it's put in a higher low here on the 5 minute and just kind of chopping around in a range. Don't really see a trade outside of maybe scalps, which I would rely on Space Monkey for that. So I'll sit on hands otherwise. Main position is mRNA, and I'll continue to manage that. All right, guys. See ya.